So today is the 3rd of Iyar, Chodesh Tov. So we move into this month of Iyar. And it's the 18th day of the Omer. We are in the fourth day of the third week. The third week is Tiferet. The fourth day, as we've been meeting on Mondays, is always going to be Netzach within the Midah. So we'll talk about that really soon. Netzach shebetiferet, and specifically the qualities of Tiferet, radiance, beauty, harmony. Kat is also going to put into the chat, don't worry, my scribble post-it, which you see behind me, but probably don't see very well, so that you can have it for the road, so we can look at it each week together. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to start on quadruped, on all fours. How we're going to roll today is about 5 minutes of warm-up, followed by a little bit of teaching, and then we'll continue with our practice until 1/4 of the hour. And then for whoever can stay, we have a nice, lively time to share reflections and ask questions. So if you can stay for that, that's great. So we're starting on quadruped. If you'd like support, some padding for under your knees, you can also put that there as I'm doing. If it's too much on the wrists to be on all fours, you can do some of this seated. You can also do this on your fists, and that helps to not have so much flexion, and also just in general to really not put too much weight down to pull out of the wrists. So already Tiferet, balance, we're balancing the body here. Wrists are directly under the elbows, under the shoulders, and the knees are directly under the hips. And we move into a little bit of arch and curl. So inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, widening the chest, the collarbones, taking the gaze forward. And as we exhale, curling, taking the tailbone and the crown toward the floor and doming the mid back up. Inhaling, lengthening, arching. Let the belly be soft throughout. And exhaling, nice C curve. Really send those back ribs up toward the ceiling. Push away. Inhale, lengthen as you arch. And exhale, curling. Go in your own time, coordinating breath and movement, starting to wake up the spine. Beautiful commander-in-chief of the nervous system here. Making some space between the vertebrae. Bringing health to the discs of the spine, the intervertebral discs. You want to make space so that all messages can go through the nerves, no pinching, no bulging discs, no herniating discs if we can help it. It's keeping the health of the spine. See if you can start to smooth out breath and movement as you go. Just a couple more rounds. And then sit it back for a moment. Just take circles with the wrists. Take a little pause. And coming back, we'll do some balance and some core work. Inhaling, take the right leg back behind you. The heel is at hip height. The navel is drawn in. The ribs are corseted. The crown of the head in line with the tailbone, with the heel, one line. And then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, take the left leg back behind you. Flex the foot. Toes pointing evenly down, spreading the toes, extending through the Achilles tendon. Lift from the root of the thigh upward. Draw the navel in and then come back. And now we're going to add the opposite hand if you like. Inhale, right leg, left arm, palm facing in. Exhale, come back to center. Be so light in your hands. Inhale and switch. Lengthen. Exhale, come down. Inhale, switch. Lift from the root of the thigh. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lengthen. Feel that X, that line across the body. Exhale, come down. One more time each side. Inhale. Exhale, come down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come down. Nicely done. Walk the hands forward, stretch the tailbone back, lengthening the tailbone up toward where the wall meets the ceiling, laying the forehead down to the floor. Little downward dog variation, puppy stretch. Elbows are extended, are lifted off the floor. Upper arms externally rotated, triceps moving down toward the floor, biceps moving up toward the ceiling. And then come on back and have a comfortable seat, either up on the blanket or the block. Tall spine. I'm going to share a breathing practice in honor of this week of Tiferet, of balancing. So we're going to inhale to a slow 4 count and exhale the same, a slow 4 count. If this doesn't sync for your breath, please take a different count, whether you need it longer or shorter. First, just lengthening the spine, grounding the sit bones. Feeling the breath come in and out. You can sit in any way that's comfortable for you, whether it's crossed legs like I'm doing or on the chair. Inhale and then exhale completely. And here we go. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy jaw. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it going. Count to yourself. Two more cycles. When you're finished with 2 cycles, allow the breath to just return to normal. Just let it be on its own. Observe how you feel. Noticing any sensations, any change in your level of energy, in your mental space. anywhere in your body. And just checking in, see what you notice as a result of that balancing breath. So that's a breath that you can always do. It's good for just general anything. It's a good thing to do for calming and for developing some focus, some attention. It's a good breath for if you're experiencing anxiety. It helps. And just again, generally balancing the nervous system. So, as I said, today is the 3rd of ER, and tonight we'll begin Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day for Israel, for all fallen soldiers. That's tonight and tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Yom HaAtzmaut, of course, Israel Independence Day, celebrating 75 years of the State of Israel. So that's where we are in the calendar. It's the 18th day of the Omer, as I said, the 4th day of the 3rd week. The 3rd week is Tiferet. So we talked about week 1, Chesed, loving kindness, compassion, grace, the patriarch Avraham. And week 2, Gvura, or Din, strength, power, boundaries, limits. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis completes the first triad. That's Tiferet. Tiferet is defined with several words. You can choose what really resonates for you. Balance, beauty, harmony, radiance. Tiferet is also known as emet, as truth. And Art Green says that reminds us that emet includes the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the middle letter, and the final letter, Aleph, Mem, Tav. And so it's this balancing point between Chesed and Gvura, right? So balancing point between love, effusion of love, and limits, boundaries on that love, right? Comes into this point of Tiferet. So again, beauty, harmony, radiance, balance, truth. We can find harmony in nature. We can find it, look for it within ourselves. So yoga, our yoga practice really fits in so beautifully, I think, to Tiferet, because yoga is about harmony. It's about architecture from the outside, right? The balance of these poses. And today I want to look at specifically triangle pose and its beautiful balance as an expression of Tiferet. Yoga is balance and literal balancing, isn't it? And it's also beauty, it's artful. Yoga is both science and art. And today we want to really focus on that artful quality, that the beauty that our practice brings from within, and also that we can just be with and fully appreciate in our practice. So again, Tiferet completes the first triad. And in terms of ancestors, Avraham, Chesed, Gvura, Yitzchak, and Tiferet, synthesis of the two forefathers is the third, Yaakov, Jacob. Again, I'm drawing from the commentary from Art Green in his book Ehyeh, Kabbalah for Tomorrow. He talks about the elderly Jacob as having learned from his experiences and coming into some maturity and being able to finally bless his children. So Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. So today, Netzach Shebetiferet, we look at eternity or endurance within beauty, within balance, within radiance. This lasting quality within harmony. So we're going to come to a low lunge. Grab your strap or your resistance band. You don't have to belt it. You can just take the hands wide on it. We're going to take the right knee forward. The left knee is right under you, and square yourself up first off. Take the hands to the right thigh. Notice if the right hip wants to hike up. Can you balance it out by dropping the right outer hip, the right sitting bone? Lengthen the tailbone and lift the low belly. Draw the navel to the spine. You might find that already sensation begins to arise in the left front of the thigh, the quadriceps, and the hip flexors. We want to find that balancing, that beautiful architecture of the pelvis first. And then from here, once you've found that and you have the foundation and stability of the pelvis, you can start to draw forward if you like. Let the hips come forward, continuing to lengthen the tailbone. And then from here, taking the arms as wide as you like, whatever works for your shoulders, and lifting up with the arms. Tailbone lengthening down, crown, fingertips lengthening up. And if you like, you can lift the chest, you can lift the gaze, you decide. Really play with the subtleties of this. There's so much nuance you can get. I'm barely going anywhere, as you can visually see from the outside, but there's so much sensation going on for me inside, and we want to contact that sensation. To dive deeply into it, to work on our awareness here. And then as you're ready, release and change sides. Left foot stepping forward. Once again, come up to square. Lengthen the tailbone. Notice if that left hip wants to hike up. Can you even out the hip points? Lengthening the tailbone. Lifting the pubic bone in front. So you can think of it as the pubic bone or the pelvic floor or the low belly. Any of this will do. Lengthening down on the back body, lifting up on the lower part of the front body. So when you find this, and you start to find this, sensation begins to build in the thigh, in the hip flexor. Inhale the arms up. Don't lose your core as you go. Stay one integrated piece, and then you can begin to work with the shift of the hips forward. And can you do it without just thrusting the rib cage forward, right? Keeping the whole torso in line, keeping some integrity there. Again, the architecture of this form. And if you like, lifting the heart, lifting the fingertips, lifting the gaze. Find your stability. Just bask in the beauty of this form for a moment. And then release. We'll take it one more time, changing sides. Inhale, lift the arms up. And this time we're going to add a little side bend to the right. So inhale, lengthen the torso. Exhale, side bend right. Be here and breathe. Extending through both side waists as you get that nice opening on the left, and then inhale up, and then exhale, twist to the right. And just feel that core action. You can come back and go in a couple of times. Just let it come from center. Inhaling tall. Exhaling, twist. And then come on back to center and we'll switch. Left foot forward. Again, finding all those checkpoints here, lengthening the tailbone, lifting the front body. We inhale the arms. We let the hips drop forward. I'm feeling like I'm pulling the strap apart with my fingers. So you give it this isometric engagement, using our props for proprioception. Inhale here, and exhale, take a side bend to the left. Breathing here, staying here. Don't collapse the left side. Even as the right side opens, so does the left in this side bend. And then inhale up through center and exhale, twist left. Inhale, come back through center, drop the strap, tuck the back toes, step forward, little ragdoll. Fold over the legs. Keep a nice bend on the knees. And then we'll begin to roll up vertebra by vertebra. So inhale, fill that pelvic basin. And exhale, drop the tailbone, stack vertebra by vertebra, slowly taking your time to come up to stand. And then finding ourselves in mountain pose. Let's take the feet together. Arms by the sides, extending through the fingertips. And just feel sense of balance here. The embodiment of Tiferet. Balance side to side. The harmony within this body. And the beauty within this body. And then we're going to take the legs wide. You can take the chair in front of you or blocks in front of you. I'm going to take a wide leg forward bend to start. So take the legs nice and wide. The outer edges of the feet are parallel with the outer edges of the mat. And then if you can, turn them in slightly, turn the toes in slightly. Hands to the hips. Inhale and lift the heart. Draw the elbows back, shoulder blades toward each other. And exhale, fold forward from the hip crease. Knees are straight and the hands come to the chair or to the blocks. See that you're not hanging back in your heels. Once again, you want to balance the hips right on top of the ankles. Spine is long, tailbone to crown. Just be right here. Draw the thigh bones back. You notice as you do that, it's a little bit subtle. You make a little more space in the low back, a little more hollowing of the belly. So tailbone going back, crown going forward. And just feel the balanced architecture of this pose. Be here and breathe. Slow, smooth, steady breaths, attending to sensation, moment to moment. As you're ready, hands to the hips, press into the feet, inhale and lift up. Exhale, come back to neutral. Walk the feet in just a little bit. The left toes turn in, the right toes turn out. We're going to warrior two. Inhale the arms up to shoulder height and exhale, bend that right knee coming down. So no farther than 90 degrees in the right knee, and the knee is never going past the ankle. We're protecting the joints here. Extend through the fingertips. As if you could press the hands down onto two big beach balls. Engage the shoulder blades, engage the lats. And then just be here and breathe a couple of breaths, feeling in to the balance of this pose, the beauty of this pose. And then as you're ready, release, switch sides, turn the feet, inhale the arms, exhale, bend through the left knee. Just take note again of where is the knee in relation to the ankle. Draw the shoulder blades down, engage the lats. Feel this sense of harmony side to side, each side extending out from the midline. And when you're ready, come on up. Turn the feet once again. We're going to look at triangle pose. So the chair is behind you or the block is behind you. Left toes in, right toes out. Arms come up shoulder height. Inhale here. Press the feet down. Exhale, shift the hips over to the left as the torso comes to the right. And then let that bottom hand come down to the block or to the chair, and the top arm comes up toward the ceiling. If this is not okay for your shoulder, keep the hand either just alongside the left side of your body or hand to hip. Again, you decide what works. Just be here for a moment or two. And then as you're ready, press into the feet, inhale and come up. We're going to do this pose a couple of times. So just getting to know it, getting to remember its imprint on this first go round. Inhale the arms up as you wish. Exhale, shift the hips to the right, torso to the left. Bottom hand comes down. Decide where the top arm is going. Just feel into the beauty of this form. A couple of breaths. Legs are straight. Torso is extended. When you're ready, press into the feet. Inhale, let the top arm lift you up. Okay. Second go around, refining a little bit. Refining a little bit. So legs are straight. Torso is extended on both sides, particularly the underside of the torso as we come in. And the arms are extended in one line, and we can really just feel into the beauty of this form, of this pose. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, shift the hips, lengthen. Come on in, decide where the hands want to be. Okay, and then you start to settle in. Legs are straight. Right sitting bone tucking under you. Both sides of the rib cage extending. Crown away from tail, right? So whatever plane we're in, we still have that line, and then we have the line of the arms. So you could think of this as 5 points. The 2 legs, the 2 arms extending, and the crown extending. And then of course, the gaze can either be forward or it can be up toward the ceiling, depending on your own spine, your own neck. Smooth, easy breaths. Press into the feet, inhale to come up. And we'll switch sides. Turn the feet. Inhale the arms. Exhale, shift the hips. Lengthen the torso, coming down. So you might need different support on the second side than the first side. Check that out. And then start to settle in. Left sitting bone tucking under you. Rib cage, particularly the left side, the underside, lengthening. Arms lengthening. Spine spinning from the tailbone to the crown. Rib cage spinning. Couple more breaths. Smooth, easy breaths. And when you're ready, press into the feet. Inhale. Come on up. Great. And now as counter pose, once again, we're going to take the wide leg forward bend. So widen the legs even a little more than triangle. Hands to the hips. Inhale, lift up, and exhale. Hands come to the chair or the blocks or perhaps to the floor. If you want to move a little deeper in this time. Inhale, lengthen the spine, draw those thighs back in your mind's eye. And then exhale, let the crown of the head descend toward the floor. Maybe you want to support it on a blanket or block. The fingers are pointing forward, the elbows are drawing toward each other. Just feel the architecture of this pose, the beauty of this pose, wide leg forward bend. And as you're ready, starting to unravel, to come out, hands to hips, press into the feet, inhale. And before we jump the feet together, just feel the sense of balance through this widened stance. And then we'll come feet back together and feel the opposite. Feet together, feel this stance and the balance of this form. And then you'll grab your yoga strap belted or your resistance band. Place it right below the elbows. And inhale the arms up. So finding kind of the opposite architecture, wide and then thin. Feel your feet under you. Feel the extension of the torso, the lift of the rib cage. Once again, draw the triceps forward. External rotation of the upper arms, same as we did before. Notice how it helps the shoulder blades descend. Observing sensation, some heat maybe through the arms, through the hands, and then bringing it down. Releasing, and pause. We'll come to a seated position. Grab your blanket, something to sit upon. If hamstrings are quite tight, you might want 2 blankets or a blanket on top of your block. You want to get some lift so that you can be tall through the low back. You can also place blocks, if you like, under the knees to just, if it's too much to have the legs straight, you want some bend for the knees. We're going to take that strap or resistance band around the feet. So we lengthen the feet long. Have the strap around the archway of the toes. Grab hold of the strap with your hands. You can even wrap the hand so that you don't have to work your fingers too hard. Lift the chest up. Widen the collarbones. Feel the sitting bones descending evenly. Draw the pelvic floor up gently. And even here, corset the ribs in so that the front ribs don't just thrust or pop forward. There's softening back and there's a lengthening. And you can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can begin to fold forward. Inhaling and lengthening. We'll do this incrementally. Exhaling, just fold a little bit, a couple inches. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, come forward a little bit. Work your way in this way. Come to your edge, don't push it. See where that is today. Maybe you want to fold forward and lay your head down on a block or tower of blocks. Maybe you want to reach for your big toes with the first two fingers and hook them. Maybe you're folding deeper. Be wherever you are. Just maintain that length in the low back. Be here and breathe. As you're ready, inhale and come up. We're going to take a block between the thighs on the thinnest level here. Squeeze the thighs together, lift the chest, sit back just a little bit, lengthen back. We're going to move into boat pose. Again, just feeling balance, harmony of this pose. Widen the chest. And then from here, if you like, toes come up, continue to squeeze on the block. Maybe the arms extend, or maybe you continue to hold. Maybe you want to extend the legs long. See where you want to be. Squeezing that block. Balancing. Boat pose. Smooth, steady breaths. You can pause and come out. Rest a moment. And go back in. Find the length of the spine, the balance point on the sitting bones. Squeezing the block. And slowly release. Hug both knees in toward the chest. Take the arms and hug around the shins. Lift up tall. Holding both knees with the left hand. Inhale the right arm up. And exhale, bring it around so you take a twist. Just sitting up tall, holding the knees. Draw the belly in and around. You can back up as much as you need to make some space for the abdomen, or walk the feet a little bit forward. And then come on back to center. Switch arms so you hold with the right hand. Inhale the left arm up. And then open out to the twist. And then slowly coming back. One more thing before we settle into stillness. One more beautiful form. We'll take a supported bridge pose. So lowering down to the floor, and you could do so slowly, working the core a little bit as you come down, vertebra by vertebra. Take hold of a block. Draw the feet closer in toward the body. Inhale, exhale, press into the feet, lift the hips, place the block right under the low back. Let the belly settle, let the tailbone lengthen toward the heels. Just an easy low bridge. Turn the palms up and draw the shoulders under you a little bit, tuck them in so that you really open a lot of width and space across the chest. And this is just a restorative or a yin style bridge. So no efforting, letting the chest open on its own, letting the back of the hips be heavy and just drop right into the support of the block. And simply seeing that the knees don't splay. We want to make sure they stay parallel. We don't want to squish the lower back. So the purpose of this is just counter pose and lengthening for the spine. And breathe here. As you're ready, press into the feet, lift the hips, remove the block, and slowly lower down vertebra by vertebra. Once you're here, see if the body is hoping for any last movements. If so, go ahead and take them, and otherwise just settling into stillness. In any way you like, you might like to keep the knees bent and soles of the feet to the floor, or lengthen the legs as I'm doing, feet as wide as the mat. Maybe you want to rest on your side or even prone. See what the body is wanting. Allow the palms to turn up. Let the shoulders tuck under you. Remove your glasses, and if it's safe and comfortable, allow the eyes to close. Surrender any doing. And just allow the body to receive the imprint of Tiferet, of harmony, balance, beauty, radiance, truth. Begin to deepen the breath, wiggling the fingers and the toes, giving yourself a nice yawn stretch. And make your way to a comfortable seat, taking your time. When you arrive, bring your palms evenly to meet, each finger meeting the other. Balance, even pressure side to side. And take the thumbs right into the breastbone, into the sternum. Allow the thumbs to lift the sternum up. As we move into this week of Tiferet, just feeling it right here in our hands. This sense of balance and beauty, side to side, sense of harmony. Let's take these qualities and draw them, as we have been doing, into our own body, into our own practice, into our own awareness practice for the week. Seeing if we can contact these qualities of Tiferet both internally and also externally as we see our world. Taking a breath or two to seal your practice. As you're ready, you can release the hands and open the eyes. Shavua Tov, thanks for practicing. Today, as any time, if you have received benefit from our practice today or any of our practices or any of our free offerings during the week, we encourage and hope you'll make a donation to IJS in any amount. It helps us to continue our programming on this level and continue to provide free resources to you. So thank you in advance. And for anyone who has to run off, Shavua Tov, have a good week. For those of you who are able to stay, we can share reflections on this practice today, and any questions, you can put them into the chat or you can use the hand raising function. I want to give a shout out to those of you who are so disciplined and devoted to this community, to this practice, and who come week after week. It amazes me. It's terrific. Thank you for your gvura, your discipline, for your efforts. Bring friends. Continue to bring friends, as I know you do. It's really wonderful. It's just good to see you and to be with you. Okay, great. Susan.
I have a question. Let me put my hand down. When I get a lot of pressure in the pelvic area because I've had some pelvic fractures, is there any particular form that would be good for me to do more frequently? Sitting cross-legged, it's pain in like the groin area.
I would say that today was not a practice for you, Susan.
Well,
your needs.
It was difficult. It was difficult, but I feel good after it. So
okay, that's good. And I'm sure you're encouraged to do some weight-bearing stuff, so that's good. You might, do you have any osteopenia or osteoporosis?
Yes.
So there's a great book, Yoga for Osteoporosis. Lauren Fishman, MD, and Ellen Saltonstall. I highly recommend it. They keep refining their work. It's called Yoga for Osteoporosis, and they recommend a sequence to do daily, actually, for osteoporosis, and that could help you. Yeah. Well, the reason I say not such a practice for you today is because I think triangle is a tricky one in a way with its imbalance to the pelvis. But I think if you practice it with a chair, and if you practice it not going too deeply in and really stay focused on what's happening in your own pelvis, then that's good. I think too that any strengthening, are you in PT? Are you doing strengthening exercise?
No, it's been a number of years, so I'm not in PT.
Nonetheless, I think that if you have any strengthening exercises that you were given at the time of rehab, it's good to keep up with those.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what I'll say is I think that the floor sequence is really nice for the pelvis and for finding just having some support as you work on your awareness. And you can just start with the anterior and posterior tilt of the pelvis, right? Pelvic awareness there, bringing in a knee, the other knee. You can do it with the knee bent or with the leg straight. And then this set of taking one leg up. And again, knee can be bent, leg can be straight, you can play. And then you'll see, I mean, this might not feel great on your body to take the leg all the way out, but I think one thing that's very nice is to just make circles with the foot on the ceiling as you hold the strap, one direction, other direction, and then maybe just some knee circles to just work on the hip. So that, I would say that kind of stuff is really, should be quite beneficial.
Good, thank you. And Fishbein was the name of the yoga for osteoporosis.
Fishman.
Okay. Thank you.
Lauren, Loren Fishman, and Ellen Saltonstall, Yoga for Osteoporosis.
Good. Thank you. And the class was very good. The class was good for me. I do what I can.
Good, thank you. Elaine asked, how does one access recordings and how soon are they available? They're available immediately, and Kat will put that link in the chat. So yeah, if you go over to our IJS playlist, please subscribe first of all to our channel. That's helpful, and please like the playlist or any individual practices that you do. That's helpful. There we go. Thank you, Kat, so much. Okay, Renee.
Hi, Boker Tov. Thank you.
Boker Or, hi.
My first, thank you. Okay, I don't know what time it is. Sorry. Thank you,
It's
guys.
Boker. It's totally Boker.
It's something. It's not.
We're all in different time zones too, so somebody's Boker anyway.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay, I'm on the East Coast. I was recently diagnosed with MS. And it's interesting how my yoga approaches had to be completely flipped with what I can and cannot do. So a lot of chair, a lot of seated, the resistance bands are great.
Good.
I'm wondering what I'm experiencing a lot of. So basically the disability has impacted me and I've become somewhat paraplegic. Yeah, so it's kind of awkward, challenging. Do you have any suggestions? I guess the obvious answer might be just some seated yoga or just improvise with what, yeah.
You know, Renee, I will say that you're asking beyond my skill set, and I want to be really, no, these are great questions. I want to be really honest that I'm not trained in yoga for MS and other people are. So what I would do, you know, because I'll always say what I do know and what I don't know. And I think I can basically say if you're enjoying working with the resistance bands, if you're enjoying working with the chair, great, do more of what feels good. I would Google yoga for MS, and particularly Iyengar teachers tend to have a little more training in specific areas. And I know that there's someone out there, and I can't remember whose name it is, but I'm pretty sure it's an Iyengar teacher who has a specialty with MS.
Okay,
So
thank you.
honestly, see what you find online. But then what I'll just say, you know, just basic, sounds like what you're probably doing, is to work on your standing poses with the chair.
Okay.
If things like this can work. So, and then you can always use the chair for balance help.
Yes.
You know, if things like that. And where you can't move, you can support yourself. And then if the resistance bands work well, like you have, are you okay in the arms and the torso?
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes.
So, I would say like you can use the resistance band helps so much to just, you can kind of play and find movements.
Yes, I love what you're doing.
Things like I was in this fun class the other day that I'm trying to kind of learn and adapt, but you can do things like here you're getting shoulder, you're getting trunk rotation, right? You can take it more open if you want. That's kind of hard for me, but like just play.
Okay. Yeah.
This is
resistance
so
bands are my
helpful.
friends.
What'd you say?
I said resistance bands are my friends.
Yeah, resistance band are really your friend and all our friends. And I like them in both forms, both the long one and then also the circular ones.
Okay.
There's so many different things you can do,
Okay.
and
Great. Thank you.
yeah, but I would really look up yoga for MS.
Okay.
You'll find somebody with a lot more knowledge than I have in
Well,
that
was a lot.
specific area.
That
And
was a tremendous- Thank you.
mostly wishing you healing and strength, refuah shlema.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you all. So nice to see everyone. Thank you.
Good. We have a good time here. Let's see. Jenny, I have a problem with the triangle pelvic bones, you and everybody. So thank you for sharing that. Triangle really is a hard pose. One thing you can do is you can do it with your back to the wall so that you have full support for your back when you're doing triangle.
I didn't answer. No, it's okay. I have trouble too. I had chronic thing and
I can't tell if that was for me or if I couldn't hear. Anyway, I want to say something else about triangle. So you could do it at the wall. You have a lot of support for the back body if you do it at the wall. If you've been doing yoga for a really long time, like, I don't know, 20 years or more, you might remember at some point a teacher talking about keeping your body between two panes of glass and drawing this hip point up. And I just want to be clear, we really don't teach that way anymore. This sitting bone is coming under me, right? But if you try to crank this hip open, you're squishing your SI, your sacroiliac joints, a lot. So you can even start by tipping down and feeling the width that you get here, and then just starting to open. So this hip point, you should never really try to aim for. It depends, where all our hips are built differently, so I want to clarify that. But trying to lift and like open this, if that's something you're continually going for, you might find, wow, I get a lot of pain in my low back, and there's good reason, because you're squishing it. So I tend to think more about this leg, and that this hip point is kind of going in this direction. So that the opening that I have upward is coming much more from my torso and my spine than it's coming from my hip. So the two panes of glass thing, it's not a great image if that's one you've heard before. So that there is some tip to the pelvis here, and then I can start to blossom upward with the spine. I hope that was clear. If that doesn't make sense to you, discard it. But I have a feeling it's like hamevin yavin. If that's something that is a thing in your body, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about if you've had a problem with that, because it's definitely something that I have worked with a lot. Bill. You need to unmute.
You're muted, Bill.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah. In one of the poses, we're stretching our quads quite a bit. And was that the purpose of the pose or whatever? Because stretching my quads helps me walk straight.
Good. Well, I wanted to get the quads fired up, opened, and the hip flexors, especially before we went into the standing poses. So certainly the stuff on the floor, but I mean it all works together: quads, hamstrings, hip flexors, front and back of the hips. I'm trying to think what else. We didn't have so much more quads. I mean, we had a lot of also hamstrings today. But if you feel you're walking straighter, then it's a good day.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So good job, good practice. Thank you, everyone. It's wonderful to see you, and we'll see you next week.